Hey, it's Ellie. Welcome back to another video, or hello if you are new. So, after nearly a year of posting videos for this zoo, speed builds, and then the final tour, I have now come into the zoo myself to take the tour and do some commentary along the way and show some of the behind the scenes and just experience the zoo a little more, because I feel like in the cinematics that I showed, you didn't really get to sit with the zoo, to look around, to really explore anything. So I am going to do that right here now in my zoo. So here we go. This is the entrance. It's the zoo is on the mountain map, so it's kind of meant to be like a windy path up the mountain, and then you come to this area. And so here, the sign to direct which way to go. I think we will just go to the hotel first, because we can look at the bungalows later on. But yeah, so this is a little staff building. I don't think I really ever showed this off in any of my cinematics, but it's, you know, pretty basic. I like having the windows open for the staff buildings. It just, I mean, they're already like so nice and detailed, it feels a shame to not have the interiors visible if it's available. So here's something that I did not really get to show off, but I really like, and it is oh, you know what, I think I meant to make a sign for this. Oh well, okay, well. Let's get that out of there. Okay, so this is just the parking meter, right? So you would go, you know, on this side you would enter, and you would take your little parking pass, and you push the button, and you put the little screen that says take your ticket, and then thank you, and it'll open the little arm so you can drive through, and then you get here, and then on the way out you put your ticket in this meter here, and it has some buttons to pay and whatnot, a card reader, etc. Yeah, I thought this turned out really nicely. I feel like it's pretty cool looking. I wish I had made a sign for it. I think I might have forgotten that that was there. But yeah, then you just have parking lot with the shuttle parking, and we're just not going to discuss how the shuttle would actually get around in this parking lot. We're just not going to think about it. Maybe it backs up. Can it do that? Not really. Well, yeah. Here's the seating for it, right next to the waterfall. And this cliff, which is a cliff. Handicap parking with spots blocked off. I really like this extra spot here, and I didn't know what to do with it, and I felt like maybe it would be motorcycle parking or something, but in reality it doesn't have any purpose, and it's sort of awful. But I just couldn't make it work. It looks stupid when I put two sidewalks here. It looked worse, I thought. So yeah, so then you would come in here to the gift shop, which, as you can see, is quite full. There's a lot of children in this gift shop. You can get all the things. Some of them are just the standard shelves. I didn't spend time decorating, but then a couple of them are not. To be honest, I have no ideas which ones are which. I know that these are not any of the game shelves. This is just my own shelf display here. And so, yeah, little gift shop, and then you can go right into the hotel lobby, which has videos playing at all times. This is something I didn't really get to show off. I might upload this as a separate YouTube video, but this is a little video that I made of like supposed live cameras throughout my zoo, and it's just obviously pre-recorded video. Then I put this little like template thing over top the overlay. But yeah, it's meant to be like a live animal cam, and it's perfect. I got some great shots with it too. Overall. So, as I said, we could sit here all day and kind of watch this, but I think I'll just upload that as a separate video if you're interested. So yeah, this logo I made, this information desk, and then we have some seating on this side. So I thought overall this seating turned out really nice, and I ended up stealing a lot of it and putting it through other spots. Some table, like just general decor and whatnot, more of the video, and an elephant swimming here. Bar. This staircase, which was an absolute nightmare. And this section, which... Okay, so technically, this says restrooms. It's not the restrooms back here. This is actually the spawn point, and ignore this awful... Oh god, the awful path. I originally had the spawn point upstairs, and if you have been around since the beginning of the series, you might remember me narrating this in some of the episodes, but basically I was not able to keep my spawn point upstairs for whatever reason. This stairwell, I don't think it's working properly, so the guests can't actually walk up and down, but I had already built all of this around it. It was too late to change it, so I just had to adjust. But this is meant to be like hotel rooms, basically. This is the hotel space. I see, this is why I don't think it's working, because this Vista Point should be summoning the guests up there. Maybe I could try that. Switch the item focus. I don't think that's gonna help. Anyway. Yeah, so this is my two-story hotel, and we're just gonna pretend that it goes much higher. The elevator and everything, the very large space. What are these guests doing? What are they doing? Weird. Okay, well, either way. So, more lounge seating areas with ATM, and then out here where the guests can actually go because there's no path, we have this amazing pool, which I worked really hard on, especially this hot tub. Lots of, you know, pool lounge seating, the outdoor bar, and then this hot tub, which is actually bubbling and looks like a real hot tub because it's a habitat item, actually. But yeah, so huge pool area. Hammock, everything. I didn't even forget the drain. So, onward we go. Now that we have been in the hotel, we would exit to this very large fountain and this turnaround, which is meant to be drop-offs and things, the bus view. And we get to this space. The entrance quickly. I'm just gonna up over here because this is some of the backseat behind the scenes stuff. This is the river otter habitat. And then this path goes all the way over here to the bungalows and other staff areas. In here. And obviously just a straight stream to the actual zoo, but there's a bunch of stuff in here. First of all, this is the actual front desk counter, quote unquote, with the prices and all these things. And then here we have the kids zone, which does have little some of these signs I worked on, which I just put like little insects and pretend lines for text. I didn't want to actually write out anything crazy. I'm gonna work that hard on my fake zoo, but I did spend some time making some signs in Photoshop and whatnot. Learning about pollinators and this sign, conservation around the world. And then my zoo map, which here's the thing, I like my zoo map, but also I wish I was better at graphic design to make it better, because I feel like, I mean, that is what the zoo looks like, and that's where all the habitats are, and I like the way that that part is laid out, but it looks empty. I wish there was more around just around the map or something. Wish I put a border on it or something. But it's okay. The tour schedule, which I don't know if any of these tour things are actually working. More of the live animal cam. Let's ignore the fact that this camera is moving with the animal. The guests here are trying to get a view of the otters through these windows, and that's funny that this guy is crouching down trying to look. That's very realistic. Just go outside. Okay, anyway. This is supposed to be a living terrarium. So it's one of those things that's just enclosed, like you don't have to care for it at all. It's self-sustaining, and it teaches people about how plants, you know, sustain themselves in their environments and whatnot. And then this sign I made, which is to promote animal sponsorships for donations and things. So I have some of these animals were at one point all in my zoo. These are pictures that I took of the little babies that would have at some point been released. I'm sure they are released by now because I made this sign pretty early on. But yeah, this sign, and then the gift shop here, which I think might actually just be an information stand. I think it is. Unless nobody's going to it. And then more seating. So yeah, on we go to the most crowded space of the zoo, the flamingo habitat. So we come right out here, and just the ambience is great though. Gonna come sprinklers and the very large, kind of wide habitat in the front here with the rock formation. And then right on this side you have some coffee, which I figured is always a good move, just to have coffee right in the beginning. Bathrooms, of course, and sign. And this is a fake exhibits. I made a bunch of those just because I felt like the actual exhibits sometimes limit you in terms of like capacity and whatnot. Through the garden area, this area where the tours would be. There's a flamingo just sleeping in there, and I think for this I am gonna go through the habitats as well. As I said, I really didn't do that on any of my cinematics, my cinematic tour, but I did in my actual cinematic at the end of my speed builds. So, you know, I think you've seen some of the habitat, but it's nice to just kind of get up close to the animals for a bit. So here's all the flamingos taking a little snooze. It's actually quiet through here, which is surprising. Despite all the people that are like right there. It's quite serene for the animals. And so this part I don't really think I've ever shown off too much, but it actually goes all the way back here. So there's actually quite a bit more to this habitat. There's this whole secondary water area, which I have to put because I did not have enough water area in my zoo in this habitat for the flamingos based on the number of flamingos. So I had to expand this habitat a huge amount off my recording and put this secondary pond, but I think it works because it's a little bit quieter here. And then of course area for the zookeepers, which is fairly hidden from this space, which is good because the restaurant, you know, right nearby. Oh, perfect. We'll just kind of hang out here for a second. Watch the flamingos come eat. I didn't realize this was a pool for the flamingos. I don't think it is for some of the other animals. Here they all come though. How cute. Yeah, that's it, I think. Go into here. The Flamingo Bar and Grill. Oh, looks like most people need the bathroom. So yeah, I have some artwork. I found some photos on Adobe Stock for free, and then I put them in Photoshop and I used some filters to make them look like an oil painting. And then I uploaded them here to my zoo. I feel like that was a good way to get like easy, cool artwork. So you just find a nice photo that you like and digitize it in some way. But yeah, so perfect. I was hoping there would be some people in here. But as you can see, how cool would it be in this restaurant, like, to sit right here and have this view of the flamingos. Even this guy, like, he can just turn his head and look over this way, and there's none there right now, but, you know, they're not too far. You could twist around and see them. We've got these people eating pizza, and they have a nice little view. Ice cream. And you're right here by the water. Obviously, the guests can't actually sit in these seats, but just imagine you're sitting right here, eating a meal. I purposely did not put any seating on the other side, so it's kind of like, this would be like a 2-person booth or maybe a 3-person booth, you know. Just kind of sit on the one side and then just have literally a front row. It feels like you're eating with the flamingos with how close they are and how like almost seamless the view is, which was the whole point basically. So yeah, man, would be my dream. I mean, just you're sitting right here. How close they could be in the water or wherever. Especially with the sprinklers, it usually draws them somewhat to this area. Oh, here we go. What's the holdup? Should check these seats. I don't know if they're all linked. It seems like there's some backup, but I'll do it later. I don't want this tour to be crazy. Okay, continuing on. This is the staff building, and then here we have our first viewing of the Eurasian lynx, which doesn't seem to be here, but The idea for this habitat was definitely to make it feel very like it's in the middle of everything, and I didn't want it to feel like that. I wanted it to feel still private for the animals, because this is meant to be a luxury resort that is very focused on the animals and the conservation and actual rehabilitation and release of these animals. And so, oh, look at this, a photo. How cute. I didn't know the guests did that. But yeah, so I was really trying to make this as private as possible, and I think I did a fairly good job. As far as I know, none of my animals are stressed out by anything. I don't even think the lemurs are stressed out, which is pretty crazy, because they are in a walk-in habitat. Yeah, so staff building, and then this, honestly, this little waterfall space is just for the staff. I just wanted to build something serene to make it feel like the zoo actually cares about its employees as well. Alright, vending, and then here's something that I did not really get to show off in anything, which is this backstage area. So this is the flamingo habitat. It's also behind the restaurant. I think, oh, and the deer, the mute swan and fallow deer habitat were obviously huge, so I needed all these staff buildings like right next to it. And then I wanted this to be nice and open, so I did just build a little additional staff room here. It's not usable, clearly, but yeah, water. This is like the pet surgery, I think. Everybody's in there right now. And then a bunch of gear, vehicles, extra tires, and then this pretend doorway into the deer habitat there. Out here in this very busy area, we've got the forest walk. So as I said, fallow deer and mute swan. Oh, it's just sleeping there. But yeah, this habitat is huge, and I'm sure is a lot to manage. But the guests basically can walk everywhere in this habitat, and for the most part, I have seen them walking like a good ways around everything, and that's really cool. So I'm gonna go in here. Oh, how cute. It's going in this little pit. I don't know if I've ever seen this swan in this enrichment item before. It usually doesn't. Oh, how cute. Yeah, these are the things that I can't get when I'm just doing my cinematic. Sometimes you see it for a second, but it's not long enough to really experience it. Oh, and it jumps out like that. Absolutely adorable. Yeah, I've got a little deer and whatnot. Go through here. They're basically always hanging out. They're weird. And again, I love that they just walk in and out and wherever, the guests and the deer. That's what I was really hoping for. I'm gonna go for this one. Lots of sleeping deer all around. So this huge waterfall. than the pond slash river. It's a very, I mean, it's fairly wide in terms of like game water with this bridge, which surprisingly worked out. I have yet to see though. Actually, I think I did see in one of my tours. Maybe the full tour, yeah. I think so. In the full tour, there was a deer that was walking on this bridge. And I was so happy to get that because I've seen them do it a number of times, but I don't get it very often, like, on my recordings, so it was really nice to finally get that. But yeah, here's the huge pond here, which, as I said, pond river because I don't really change the width of it through this area, but this definitely feels more like a pond. And the animals just kind of hang out there. Guests who come all the way through here, which I really like. So, this area, this is the trickiest part of the zoo because I was trying to make this part seem seamless and not like the end of the zoo, like the boundary, you know? So I was trying to do this wall, which didn't work out perfectly because it got a little uneven somehow. My weight blocks. But anyway, it was kind of supposed to like integrate with the hill itself. As I said, didn't quite turn out exactly the way I would have liked, but it's close enough. And I think overall, it still feels like you are not really in a fenced habitat for the most part. A couple spaces you can see the fence. A child in the bush. Yeah, the goal was to have that habitat look good from all the angles, and I think I accomplished that for the most part. So all the way back we go. We'll look at that again at some point, but here we have the viewing from outside the habitat, just in case people did not feel like walking inside. Like, I know there's a space in not my local zoo anymore because I don't live there, I moved, but where I used to live, my local zoo, there's a space in the zoo where there's an aviary and you kind of have to walk through it. There's not really a good way around it unless you go like backtrack quite a bit. And I've seen a number of times when I've gone, people who do not want to go into the aviary because they don't care for like birds or being that close to the animals, you know, like especially kids. So I did want to make sure with this habitat that you could still view it from the safety of the other side of the barrier if you're so inclined. And so a nice albino sitting right there for us. Yeah, we continue on. This is some more staff area, and we get to the concert hall. This is the ice cream shop, or it's supposed to be anyway. The ice cream is actually here, but we're gonna pretend that you order your ice cream here, and then you come here and get your little ice cream mug and your toppings and whatnot. This is supposed to be a sundae bar, right? So sprinkles and cherries and chocolate chips and all the things. And here we have the concert hall. So clearly this is supposed to be the front counter where you might buy your tickets. I made all of these. I made all of these little posters for musicians or performers that might be in the world, in the universe of my zoo. Alright, just in the winter shop, a couple exhibits. More exhibits. It switch goes all the way around. This in here is nothing, in case you were wondering. And this one is a bathroom, but actually. And then, finally in here, we have the actual concert hall. And this little silly video that I have of the light show or whatever you might have there as the background to your performance. Complete even with safety stickers for the steps. All the way around, more bathrooms. And out we go. To the next area, which, just get a quick look at this basic wall that does a really good job of separating the habitat. If I stay on the side of it, that is. Here we go. The fountain adds really nice ambience to this space. So this is the Nile monitor habitat. And I don't know. I don't think any of them are in here right now. They do come and they swim around, and this habitat is perfect because the water is shallow, which means you can see them very easily when they swim around, but they like it. And overall it just works. Why that's showing through. Alright. What is this lady doing? Trying to call them. Oh, here they come. Okay, we're gonna stand here and watch as it hopefully comes into the water. Here it comes. Oh, it really sinks way down into there. No, I don't think the path is quite this close. Yeah, the path is about here, which is why I had to put this weird. But, I mean, imagine you would be able to stand right here in real life and how close that would be. The details you would get to see of this. And I actually had a use for once for these weird murals. I thought it looked really nice back there for once. So, and the rocks I feel like help make it seem fairly natural in this space. And it's happy swimming around. Yeah, oh, here comes another one. Oh, or it's leaving. Either way. Yeah, and then so back here is more of its habitat. And it does have a pretty nice private area through here. Oh, and then we have here the birthday or the event room. So, as I said, this is for renting out and hosting events, and naturally I just picked a birthday because I felt like that would be the best, the most obvious choice, you know. Obviously the live camera it should have in here, and this, which is meant to be a cake. I'm sure it doesn't really look like a birthday cake, but you get the idea. Food options. And then up here, tucked in here, a little rainforest exhibit area, and the sign that I again made. Just found some stock photos on Adobe stock. There's plenty of free ones. I think I need more restrooms in this zoo. I feel like I have a lot, but I guess not. Yeah, the butterfly garden. Here we are. And it's right in front of the Nile monitor habitat, which clearly the guests can still see, especially up here once they exit. So this is where the deer habitat lets out. We continue on to the food court. So, here, I think this is a restaurant, isn't it? Yeah. Not a very busy one, clearly. Oh, there is someone here. See? So happy this works. Yeah, the whole idea was to have a little booth up here, little restaurant, and people sit up there, eat their meal. This does have a path underneath it as well, so guests can actually walk up here if they so choose. I don't know if they... there's so many weird routing issues that you just can't predict, though. But yeah, it would come down here to this spot, and then there's hot dogs, pizza, basically the actual restaurant, which is called the Whitetail Tavern, I believe. More bathrooms, which are completely empty. I guess that one's not, but there's 2 bathrooms here, and 2 sets of bathrooms, and it doesn't look that busy, but everybody's running around looking like they need to use the bathroom. Alright. Oh, this again. I'm trying to get guests to stop doing this. It's cement. You can't see from this side. Anyway, this is just a staff area over here that I decorated a little bit. It's, half curbside decor, and then one of the best parts of the zoo, capybara spa, which we are going to spend a little bit of time in. So we enter very serenely to the screaming of the capybaras, or whoever was screaming in here. Alright, as you can see, capybaras and people everywhere. Which is perfect. Look at the little turtle. The best part of this whole experience is just looking at these little capybaras and imagine sitting next to them as they sit in the spa under the steam water. Oh, I just love them. I could watch them all day long. And they're just all over. You would sit right here next to them. Put your feet in the water. we're gonna ignore how unhygienic that would be. Maybe other people wouldn't think that, but I would. Yeah, then you would go. Are you going up there? Can you go up there? Not sure. Oh, well, another viewing here to sit next to the capybaras. But then, more importantly, you have the spa building, which has obviously the steam bath, the massage, the mud bath, renting the private house with all of those things private, and here more exhibits, a bunch of waiting areas. This part is not usable, but I still wanted to make it look serene. If you're gonna wait for your massage or your time slot for whatever service, you would probably want to sit here and just kind of look out at all the capybaras and whatnot. That is just the bathroom, but here, I think I did show some of this off in the cinematic, but I do have, in this section, a little massage parlor. I didn't fully decorate the back of that one, but it's supposed to be the same, obviously. And then I think I might have put the same animal in here, I don't recall. Either way, tropical exhibit animals there. This exhibit is also quite large and goes a good ways back too. And I did do that on purpose. I wanted the animals to have lots of space to get away from the people. So, oh, here's my anteater. This lovely waterfall. For the record, I don't think any of the animals in this habitat can actually use this habitat enrichment item, but it looks cool nonetheless, so that's why I put it in there. And then, finally, we have the private spa house. So, we've got massage tables, a little for mud, a steam bath or something, all the towels and whatnot, and just a very like serene luxury experience. Fire pit, and finally a private pool. And I did actually see a capybara down here at one time, so that was pretty cool. I didn't manage to get it on video, I don't think, but it happens. Anyway, 3, they are identical except for the area where you can enter the villa. Alright, and now we continue on. And as you can see and probably hear for some time, we're coming to the elephant. There are the red crown cranes and the macaques are back here, which I think you can hear. But here are the elephants. And as you can see, people for some reason do not seem to really come down this way all that much, the guests. It's kind of a bummer. But yeah, this is one of the only habitats that I would say that I tried, like, that I didn't try to disguise the fact that it was completely fenced in. All the other ones, I did try to make somewhat invisible, but this one, I don't know. I just thought the wire actually looked kind of nice for the elephants. Because I wanted to do such a long habitat where it was like more thin, just felt appropriate because you can also see through it pretty well. Somehow it feels less invasive than glass, because the glass you have the sound barrier as well, whereas this, it almost feels like you could just reach out and touch the animals. Like, this one is so close to the fence right here. And a lot of the things that I put are next to the fence so that they come this way. Like the tour is right here, so I'm cool with that. Yeah, I will venture inside in a moment once we get to the other side of this viewing, but this is one of my favorite things. I need to put this on the workshop. Because I thought it would look bad when it's all like twisted like that, but it actually, when you're viewing it from like the side where I guess would be, it actually does not look all that strange overlapping like that. So, oh, how cute, the little baby elephant. They're swimming down the river. That was the whole point, for them to do exactly that. Oh, we will go to the lions in a moment as well. We're just gonna go down here. Look around. This, again, I don't actually think any of my tour points have been working. Maybe the otters, I think I saw them working once. Otherwise, but it might have broken since then. So yeah, but you would just sit right here and kind of have a tour, get to see the animals in such a way. And then there's tons of private space. Though, if you were on the playground, you might be able to see the animals from this side, which I thought was cool too. But again, this habitat was relatively thin, except for this part. I did make a good deal of like space back here for the animals to have a more private area. Another of these structures to look at from afar, and then some stone architecture features. I tried to make stairs there. I don't think the elephants use them. Kind of a bummer. I was hoping they would. I did want to blend in the back of this fence, though, for the most part. I did not want that part to be as visible. Oh, hi. Bring right next to me. A pretty large herd there, though. Yeah, so then we will go to the lions next. This is probably one of my favorite viewing areas that I've built. Not this front part, but the upper section. And the interior of this I do like. I like these lamps a lot. And the wall looks really good. There, but a little exhibit here. And then this is a fake exhibit. Very deserty. Right here, the giant glass. I usually don't make such a huge glass wall like this, but I don't know, it just kind of fit. I liked it when I kind of looked at it from afar, and just how lions are not a safe animal to have. Not to having glass between you and the guests, because obviously guests are stupid and they try to stick their hands in places. And you know, elephants aren't inherently hostile, but I would say predators probably are, and so the glass in this case is perfect to make it feel like you're right there, but still safe. And you can see pretty easily that all the lions playing and whatnot from around, doing their huge jumps constantly. But yeah, this is a path, so technically guests can get up here if it's working with this tree and this, I don't even know what to call it, this structure over my viewing area. Then you would have the lions just below you. Let's ignore the fact that you would need a net. There's one sleeping literally right there in the flowers. How cute. But yeah, this is just a full unobstructed view of this entire habitat and some of the areas nearby. It would be great to have lunch up there, bring a picnic, grab stuff from the food court nearby. Alright, then we would head out, continue through the elephants, and we're going to get to this little eating space here. With some quiet tables, like kind of in the shade away from the hustle and bustle, though there is still this exhibit right here. And this stone structure that I thought turned out pretty well with my conservation board and the animal plaque there. And along with the lion statue here, which, if you watch my speed builds, you know I was trying to reference something, and I think it turned out okay. I did my best with what I had available, right? But this is, I don't even know, the slushy counter, I think. I've opened anyway. I really wanted that to be like an interior shop, but for whatever reason, and I don't know why, I couldn't get the actual box shop to work. I think it was too big. I think it was too long. Anyway, more exhibits. And the third or second, depending on how you think about it, a lion viewing area. Which again, just some nice quiet tables in the shade. Just some glass in between. You're right there. We'll go into the habitat for a moment and listen to them. Ooh, bike. Oh, okay. They conceded. They didn't fight after all. Alright, they're just vocalizing, I guess. Is this guy about to be a little rascal? No. No. He decided to be good. I have another video of a little lion being a rascal. Cute. Anyway, here's all the lions. Pretty large habitat for all of them. So we did pass this playground on the way, which also has a little water area, which we'll look at from the other side here. As we go in, we would find bathrooms, more shops, more seating, and this is actually functional seating. This is a real picnic bench. I just put this blue seating over top of it, so hopefully it should work, and I don't think the guests like phase in and out of it too much. It's not too crazy compared to what the actual bench size is, so yeah, a little eating area, and again, pool. Huge shallow section because I imagine the space is for kids. She'll see why in a moment. And then the giant playground splash pad, I guess is more accurate of a description. Here with the little flowers and mushrooms, which I think are kind of perfect for a splash pad decor. I feel like I've seen this exact splash pad before. You know what I mean? And then my little playground, which is very basic and boring. Just a couple levels with these slides. But actually, forever ago, I was trying to recreate the Franklin Park Zoo. Is that it? Yeah. The Franklin Park Zoo in Boston because I visited and I really liked it, and I also thought it would have been really easy to make in Planet Zoo, which so far, as far as I've gotten, it has been, though I haven't worked on it in like over a year or two. Anyway, when I was doing that, I had to make a tube slide for the playground, and I used these pieces and I made this. It's like a combination of 3 or 4 pieces with the shape on the end for visual effect, and I thought it looked so perfect, like an actual tube slide. Even like, especially when you look at it from a distance, like if you're like, you know, out here on the path or whatever, it almost looks 3D. It's not that far off. I think it passed. Anyway, I might be biased. But yeah, I have this playground took me forever. This little walking bridge, more slides between and whatnot. And then we head into the best part. 2 best parts. First of all, the sloth experience. I don't know what you would call this, but basically my idea is that the kids would come here. It's a vacation, right? So the kids would maybe come here for a day while their parents have some time by themselves, and they have this whole little adventure, and one of the adventures is to prepare a meal and eat with sauce. And so they might, for example, prepare this veggie buffet, and with some little like instructions and everything, learn how to cut vegetables, all these things, and then go right over here to the sloths and feed them and interact with them. And I thought that would be like a really fun, cool conservation thing for kiddos to do. And then also, naturally, I have the arcade. You need it. So I found this ridiculously old, and you have no idea how long it took me to actually find this ridiculously old video of Dance Dance Revolution when that was a thing. And I don't even ask me what console it was on, because I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I built this little mat and everything for it. I built this whole station screen, got the video in Planet Zoo. Here we go. Dance Dance Revolution. It looks perfect. Evil, also great. Little hoop game. I don't know what to call it. Just you throw the baskets, and of course air hockey here. This one doesn't like the inner ring, but I think I needed it. I tried it without and I didn't look as good. So All in all though, what an arcade. Maybe my favorite little room of the zoo, like my interior section. This and the wedding venue, hands down. So cute. Alright, here we go. Through the zoo, continuing. To the sloths. That's just back to the lions, and then we just have some scenic area to the side here with the river and waterfall. And I think we will go down first. We walk down. Sorry, this is kind of tricky to navigate down this pathway here, so forgive my jumpiness. Yeah, this is the pandas. And how adorable. Look at it run. I wanted this to be like pretty up close with the pandas here in this section, and then also above have it be like you can see everything that was going on. It looks like they're sleeping over there, so I'm gonna go down over that way. And this is just a little sign that I made. Fake information. Exhibit, of course, benches, and then in this section, oh, one of them is sleeping. In this section, we have the little indoor space, and I imagine I tried to put it, but I had some limitations with what was above that I couldn't make it work. I wanted to put like a little fake metal door, like almost like a garage door that comes down to have the animals in here, but I didn't end up doing it. I was also thinking about putting some kind of a doorway on the inside of this. But yeah, this guy is very beat up. He's I don't think the animals are fighting, they're just, he's always got big cuts on. Anyway, continuing, go through, and this is just kind of hopefully serene forest, even though I guess that part's pretty serene. There's nothing over there too much. We have the bamboo flooring, and then, as I said, this is just a look down into the habitat from above to just see what the animals are doing at all times. Survey them from all the angles. And then the waterfall from up here as well. Alright, we're getting through this soon. It's been a while since I've been in the zoo like this, so. Alright, so next, just some staff buildings, pretty hidden. Just trying to make them look sort of indiscreet at that moment. Here we have the red crown crane and the Japanese macaque walk-in habitat. Oh, I did make this part snowy. It's less snowy on the other side, but for the most part, it's just a wide open area. I've seen the guests walk all the way back here, interact with the animals just as they should. Just a ring around, though I don't think a lot of the animals can like route back through here too well. This is really as far as I ever see them get. And this part is open as well, so it kind of got the two fence areas. Looking at a child. Unusual. Oh, and that person's walking in the fountain. Well, you know, the people don't really do that in Planet Coaster 2, because the paths are so good. Alright, I believe we need to backtrack just a tad. Not really, because we haven't seen this part, but we do need to get over here to the Palace Cat exhibit. Habitat, I should say. People are oohing. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Let's go through this last room. Oh, right at the scratch post. How cute. I love cats. They're my favorite. Wish I could see one in person. I've never seen one in person before. Are there 3? Might be 3. If there's 3, that's bad. I'm gonna start fighting. Well, either way. Alright, I don't think I ever showed this part off because it's not really anything special, but I just added a bunch of climbing features in there so that the animals would have enough climbing. It's pretty steep cliffside, and then... Oh, yep, they're fighting. Not happy right now. I need to get rid of one of them. Oh, what a fight. Anyway, I'll deal with that later. It doesn't matter. This is done. I just won't save the game. The fight never happened, or as you know. Alright. But there is the Palace Cat habitat, so we'll go way back down the path and up this area, which is just a one-way space to some indoor habitats. Try to keep it pretty serene on the way up here. A couple shops here, bathrooms through that door. Then we've got some exhibits here and into indoor habitat space. So all of the habitats have either a dome or this giant, what is this, a pentagon, glass window above their habitat to let in like a bunch of natural light. But yeah, some of them, well, there's a lot of these in here. There's supposed to be that many. I need to sell some of these animals, it looks like. Yeah, but then this one, for instance, has this dome, which I actually found on the workshop, on the Steam workshop. However, I deleted like half of it, so originally it was like a full dome, and I really just wanted these 2 layers. And I see now what they did, which is they just used the pentagon and like repeated it so that it overlapped, I think just the once each time. But still, really great work on this person's part. I wish I could remember their name, and I will put it somewhere in the description or something. And that this thing just worked perfectly with what I was hoping, which was to kind of like frame this habitat, and I was able to... We're not gonna look at the little bits of the ceiling that are not done. But it fit like basically perfectly right there, so I just had to. I'm taking a picture. How cute. And then here we have the Komodo dragon, who needs just a really basic habitat. The restaurant. Then over to the Garioles, which there are a ton. What's going on here? Food? Must be. Red pandas, which I wish this one I was able to make a little bigger. This is the habitat that I like the least, I think, this red panda one. It feels like they deserve more, to be honest. Their exhibit, and then the bear. What are you doing, bear? Well, I guess he's just hanging out there. But yeah, this is a very, this habitat is near perfect circle. It was, originally it was going to be a kangaroo house, but that was before I, like, really, sold myself on the conservation zoo. And it ended up being these bears. Alright, and away we go. I'm gonna just zoom out a bit. So we've got a lot of kind of empty space to get through here. This is a long path. This is why nobody comes to this side of the zoo. We'll get there. Alright, then finally we come to the polar bear habitat. The outside first has all of these shops and obviously a giant TV with the cam. Here we've got the seating, and sorry if you can hear the plane that's outside. It's a very, very cozy little restaurant that I absolutely love with all the multi-leveled seating. We've got this seating and then this level and just the regular. There was someone in here earlier. And then see through the kitchen as well, which I think is good. Here, and I created this panorama like diagram thing, which I thought turned out really cool. It doesn't match up here, but that's okay. We could fix it with AI, actually, if I cared enough. I would go do that. I don't think I do now, because this is my second to last video in this zoo, so. Alright, so here though we have a little mural with a backdrop for this indoor area, which is very, very basic. The polar bears here. Play together. Eat a meal. And I'll just quickly kind of zoom around this, because I don't think I ever really got up close to show this off. This is the null barrier, and it looks awful from the side, as you can see. Just terrible, really. Like full of terrain marks and just awfulness, but you can go basically anywhere else in this habitat and not see it at all. It looks like fairly seamless all the way around, even as you get closer. Even if you're like here, it really doesn't look as though it's a giant dip. It kind of just looks like it's like part of the terrain, especially over here where I put the mountains up. It kind of serve as some more of a barrier. And then down here I just did glass. course. But yeah, I thought it turned out really well, and it's perfect for something like a polar bear habitat where you just need that space, like huge amounts of space, and then you don't want to have just an ugly fence in the back, you know? I know a lot of zoos do this like forced perspective thing too to make it seem like the animals are even in the same habitat, which I think is cool. So I was trying to utilize all the tricks. Continue. Little seating area, secondary seating area, till we make it down to here. Got a bunch of education things, a little shop sign I made, which I thought was pretty cute. No polar bears, it looks like swimming equipment. But finally, the coolest thing of all, in my opinion, my favorite indoor space of the whole zoo, this wedding venue. Just could not be happier with the way this turned out. Even just the colors, like the floor, I love the blue floor. It fits perfectly with this kind of vibe. And then I have the little bridal suite. Chairs. This is supposed to be a mirror. I obviously couldn't have a real mirror in the game. There's no such thing. But yeah, little cushions, a rack for the dresses, and then on this side too we've got the groom. He has got his mirror and TV and couch and whatnot. Not quite as extensive as the bride suite, of course. But yeah, let's see. Then you go up here, and I already have a number of videos for this. I'm not gonna wait around forever for the polar bears to swim through, but the shots when the polar bear is swimming behind that arch look absolutely and utterly fantastic, and I'm so happy with that aspect of it, especially. Yeah, just a cute little outdoor area here, like good overflow for the wedding if they decided to not like get the full wedding reception venue space. Then I will show off in a little bit that the guests could just kind of hang out here in this like wide open space, but also good for the keeper talks and whatnot. With that, we head out. I have to warn you, for the sake of this video length, I'm not going to tour the whole golf course. I feel like that is not going to change all that much from me, my cinematics. There's just like one area that I want to look at, the waterfall, because I feel like the cinematics didn't really do it justice. But otherwise, I don't think we need to look through the whole thing. It's just so long, 9 holes, it takes a long time to walk through even. But yeah, this is my wedding reception venue. As you can see, I've got the little bathroom, the Photoshop area, and this the tent space with the dance area. I've even got the speakers set up, all the chairs and things. Perfect, perfect. Okay. Flew through down the road to the golf course and clubhouse. So this one isn't my favorite interior, definitely, but I think the intention is clear. With the drivers and the putters and the little golf bag. I think it looks the way that I wanted it to in the end. The skull flags are expensive. I'm just gonna fly up here to a restaurant bar, which has even got a little like dishwasher caddy thing. Tables all over, lots of protection from flying golf balls through everything. And we go to the coffee shop, which is basically like what started the whole vibe of the zoo, because I built it in a different zoo and I really liked it. And I was like, I have to use this in another zoo, so I basically built this whole luxury zoo to match the coffee shop. We've got here a baby tiger. Little ice cream station. Not like a whole ice cream buffet like before, but just a little buy your ice cream and go. Have a sit down sort of thing. Here again, we've got like maybe a living terrarium or a living terrarium, and maybe some insects potentially in here, like endangered insects that they would want to keep in these areas, or even just like a space where it's encouraged for insects to make their burrows and whatnot. The baby tiger? Why is he screaming? Alright, so here I've also got a little tiger jump, which I hope the intention is clear, but basically tiger jumps up and you can kind of measure how tall it is. The extra seating, this obviously for the whole talk, and then the best part of this viewing from above. Kind of just sit here and take in the whole habitat and the rock wall, which is much better than what it looked like before. Just take a quick peek. Extra shops, exhibits, tables. Still a great view from this side as well. Alright, we need to go see this little tiger. What is he screaming about? Maybe this one, let's see. Oh. Alright, and then I think something I did not really show in my cinematic was this staff area in the back, which is really basic, and I didn't put a whole lot of time into it, but you can see it's kind of got a whole space to go back here. I didn't do that part up. So the tiger habitat and this space you can just kind of walk through. But yeah, I just kind of did the front up there so that it didn't look so plain and basic. Then last area of the zoo. The lemur house. Got the treetop cafe right there. Nice exhibit. And this looks great with people in it, frankly. It's perfect. So we'll just kind of sit with this fella for a moment. You're kind of just sitting here. You can look out, see all the lemurs. My hope was that they would walk on this rail, but I don't think I've seen them do it. I think they can't. I was also hoping that they would not be able to walk in this area, the guests would, but that's also not the case apparently. Yeah, I've got this huge playground, this space which just has a null barrier with the water. The upper area, which sometimes people have been walking on. Like it fixed a little bit. Earlier people could not even get past the stairs, but yeah, just some nice greenery and the views mostly as you kind of look down. Lemurs from above. And I was hoping there would be an animal talk up there, but as I said, I don't actually think any of the animal talks are working. Serene water space. Go through. This I don't think I showed off yet. This is the little cave for the lynx habitat. In fact, I don't think I showed off the lynx habitat at all yet. But yeah, this is the cave that leads right into the lynx habitat, and my hope was that it would feel sort of like you're in the cave with them, the way that it's built up. And then this is the guest pool, which obviously guests can't swim in because it goes through too. If only. For the record, I started building this before Planet Coaster 2 was announced, so but yeah, here's the little drink stand and the whole pool experience. Conservation and little like kid games. Here. So this is the Eurasian lynx habitat from this side. As I said, the idea was just to kind of make this like long and feel like it's not in the middle of the zoo, even though it is. I think I did a passable job. Is that a baby right there? Like it? How cute. Meant to have some, all the habitats are meant to have like some man-made structure, like some obvious man-made structures along with their natural habitat. Keeper with an animal there. The vet, rather. Yeah, this is the little bar. Obviously none of this is functional. I don't even have like a fake counter anywhere, but I wanted to make like a little bar here and have like a nice seating area, so maybe this is for like events and things that you can rent, and that's why it's empty right now. We'll pretend. Alright, so you have the otter and this, which is really cool. These are just like stock, again, Adobe stock videos that I found that are like small clips of fish that I was just hoping it would feel like an aquarium. It's a little too, I need to like adjust it somehow, but it's almost there. And then the animal talks along with for the giant otter. And frankly, hello otter. I feel like the otter in this habitat is perfect. This underwater viewing. I think there's too many otters in this habitat though. There's too many adults here. That's okay. But yeah, there's this is actually the last that was the last habitat, and this is the last little area here. It's a small little picnic area. And then with that we reach the beginning of the flamingos. So that is the tour. If you like the more cinematic version, you can go check that out. I've already posted that version with just no voiceover, chill music, etc. But hopefully this gives you a little bit more of an inside look into the zoo, some behind the scenes areas that I didn't really show off in any of the other videos. And with that, Summit Sanctuary has nearly come to a close. I have one little video planned, and that will be the end of it, this series. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more content from me, and I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, bye!